Have you ever noticed how life never really goes according to plan? No matter how much we prepare, there's always something. A setback, a disappointment, a person who doesn't see our worth. And sometimes, it feels like the universe is testing how much more we can take. But what if those tests aren't punishments, but invitations? Invitations to grow, to evolve, to become something stronger than before. A friend of mine once said, "Why do bad things keep happening to me?" I smiled gently and replied, "Maybe life isn't happening to you. Maybe it's happening for you." Because that's what Stoicism teaches us. The obstacle isn't the end of the path, it is the path. The Stoics believed that every hardship carries a hidden gift. When you face loss, you learn resilience. When you face chaos, you discover calm. When you face fear, you awaken courage. It's not about denying pain, it's about learning to dance with it. We live in a noisy, restless world, one that celebrates busyness but forgets stillness. Yet the Stoics knew that true power comes from being still, from pausing long enough to hear your own soul whisper beneath the chaos. That silence is not emptiness, it's clarity. It's the space where wisdom speaks. And in that stillness, you begin to build something unshakable, an inner fortress. Because peace isn't about escaping storms, it's about learning how to stand firm when they come. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That one sentence changes everything. It reminds us that no matter how turbulent life becomes, we always have one place of control, where our own thoughts. So, in this video, I want to invite you on a journey, not to run away from challenges, but to meet them with calm strength. We'll explore 6 timeless Stoic principles that can turn every obstacle into an opportunity to grow, to find peace, and to live with a deeper sense of purpose. Because life will always throw storms your way, but when your mind becomes the fortress, no storm can shake you. Take a deep breath, sit with me for a moment. Let's rediscover what it means to be truly strong, not by controlling the world, but by mastering ourselves. 1. Turn obstacles into opportunities. One thing life guarantees is this: sooner or later you will face something that feels impossible. Maybe it's losing someone you love, maybe it's a career that suddenly falls apart, or maybe it's waking up one day and realizing you've lost yourself. But here's the truth: your struggle isn't a wall, it's a mirror. It shows you what still needs to grow inside you. A few years ago, I worked with a young man who had just gone through a painful breakup. He told me, "I feel like I wasted years of my life." I said, "No, you invested them. Now you're just learning what not to invest in again." That's the Stoic way. Every setback carries a seed of strength. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." You can let pain destroy you, or you can let it shape you into someone who no longer breaks so easily. The obstacle is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. 2. The power of stillness. We live in a time where silence feels like a threat. People scroll through their phones not because they're curious, but because they're afraid of being alone with their thoughts. But the Stoics believed that stillness is where true clarity lives. Seneca once said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." When your mind is constantly running, you lose connection to the present moment, and that's where your power lies. A woman I once coached, a corporate leader, told me, "My mind never stops. Even in bed, I am still working." I asked her to try something simple, 10 minutes of quiet every morning before touching her phone. 3 weeks later, she said, "It's strange. The more I slow down, the more I get done." Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing things with awareness. It's the space between reaction and wisdom, and that's where freedom begins. 3. Strengthen your inner fortress. Peace doesn't come from a life without storms. It comes from a strong foundation, a fortress inside your mind. That fortress is built brick by brick every time you choose reason over reaction. Imagine you're in an argument, your heart races, your pride rises, but instead of shouting back, you pause, take one breath and respond calmly. That single moment of self-control is a brick in your inner wall. Over time, those bricks form a fortress. It doesn't mean you stop feeling, it means your emotions no longer rule you. Epictetus taught that we can't control what happens to us, only how we respond. And once you master that, no person, no insult, no circumstance can tear down your peace. 4. Practice voluntary discomfort. Comfort makes us soft, not physically but mentally. The Stoics knew that if you always avoid discomfort, you become fragile. So they practiced what they called voluntary hardship. It could be fasting, sleeping on the floor, or simply facing fears on purpose. One of my mentors once told me, if you want a strong mind, train it like a muscle, under resistance. When you choose discomfort on your own terms, life's challenges no longer feel unbearable, they just feel familiar. Try it, take a cold shower, walk instead of drive, skip that unnecessary luxury for a week. It's not punishment, it's training. You're teaching your mind that you can survive with less and thrive without control. Because when comfort disappears, as it always does, discipline remains. 5. Master your desires. Desire is a double-edged sword. It can motivate you, or it can enslave you. The Stoics saw uncontrolled desire as the root of suffering. They taught that happiness doesn't come from getting what you want, but from wanting less. I once had a client who constantly chased success, new jobs, new cars, new relationships. One day he sighed and said, "Why do I still feel empty?" I told him, "Because you're trying to fill a spiritual void with material things. We suffer not because we have too little, but because we keep telling ourselves it's not enough. Freedom begins when you stop saying more and start saying enough." Seneca put it perfectly. He who is contented with little possesses everything. You can have peace today, if you stop bargaining with tomorrow. 6. The art of perspective. Sometimes, all it takes to end your suffering is to change your angle of vision. When you zoom out, when you look at life not from your ego, but from the eyes of the universe, things fall into place. Marcus Aurelius would often remind himself of this. Soon you will have forgotten everything, and soon everyone will have forgotten you. That sounds sad at first, but it's liberating. When you remember how small your worries are in the grand picture of life, you stop clinging so tightly. You stop making every inconvenience a tragedy. And you start appreciating the beauty of this fleeting existence. Imagine standing on a mountain looking down at the world. From there, the traffic jam, the argument, the disappointment, all of it seems so small. That's what the Stoics meant by view from above. It's not detachment, it's enlightenment. From that height, you can finally see everything changes, everything passes, and that's exactly what makes life precious. Each of these 6 principles is a doorway, a way to return to yourself when life feels overwhelming. They remind us that peace isn't found by avoiding pain, but by understanding it. That strength isn't born in comfort, but in the quiet moments where you refuse to give up. As you reflect on these 6 Stoic principles, you might realize something powerful. Life will never stop testing you, but you no longer have to live as its victim. You are not fragile. You are not powerless. You are simply untrained in the art of seeing life through the eyes of wisdom. And the good news, you can start training today. When you face an obstacle, don't ask why me. Ask what is this teaching me? When the world feels too loud, choose stillness. When emotions rise like waves, return to your inner fortress. When life feels too easy, choose small discomforts to sharpen your strength. When desires pull you away from peace, practice contentment. And when everything seems too heavy, rise above and see it all from a higher view. That's how the Stoics lived, not as saints or superheroes, but as ordinary people who chose to live with extraordinary clarity. A man once told me after watching a Stoic video, It didn't change my problems, but it changed how I carried them. That's the power of philosophy. It doesn't erase pain. It refines your soul through it. Every challenge, every failure, every heartbreak becomes sacred material for your transformation. And one day you'll look back and realize none of it was wasted. Every moment was preparing you for peace. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So protect your thoughts, feed them wisdom, train them like muscles that carry your spirit through storms. And remember, Stoicism isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about feeling deeply, but wisely. It's about knowing what's worth your peace and what's not. If this message resonates with you, if a small part of your heart feels lighter right now, then I invite you to keep walking this path with us. Because here on Stoic Awakening More, we're not chasing perfection, we're practicing presence. We're learning to live slowly, intentionally and powerfully one Stoic lesson at a time. So take a moment, breathe, and if you felt a spark of calm, of truth, or even a quiet yes in your soul, I'd love for you to join our community. Hit subscribe, leave a comment about which Stoic principle spoke to your heart most, and share this video with someone who might need it today, because peace grows when it's shared. And who knows, your small act might be the moment someone else finally finds their calm too. Until next time, stay grounded, stay kind, and remember, you don't control the storm, but you can always control the sailor within. That's the Stoic way home.